So this here is definitely going to be one of the most important video that I've recorded in a while. And if you ask me why, very simple guys. Bitcoin has officially broken below some of the most important trend lines and also invalidated the bullish continuations which were lining up parallelly. And now since we are free falling, what to expect next? Why did this happened? What caused the price of Bitcoin and the entire market to collapse like this? First thing what I want you to look at is the total market cap losses, which exceeded around $300 billion on the day as President Trump announces a 100% tariff on China. Yes guys, COVID crash, 1.2 billion in liquidations. FTX crash, around 1.6 billion in liquidations. Today, 19.16 billion in liquidation. This is biggest liquidation even in history of crypto and almost 20x bigger than the COVID crash of March 2020. It's not only the crypto market guys, even the traditional market. If you look at this S&P 500 future, extend losses to 3.5% on the day as President Trump announces a 100% tariff on China. That's a drop of around $2.5 trillion over the last 6 hours, and all because of this statement from President Trump. I mean, President Trump announces a 100% tariff on China starting November 1st and export controls on any and all critical software. Yes guys, this statement from President Trump shook the entire crypto market, and this tweet is exactly what I'm trying to tell you here. This dump was completely unexpected. I have been studying technical analysis my whole life and there were zero signs. If anyone saw this coming, you are a genius, because it was pure market manipulation, impossible to predict. This is exactly what I'm trying to tell you here guys. This dump came unexpected because the charts were clearly bullish. We were clearly in an uptrend, but this one single statement from President Trump shook the entire market. But what's even more interesting is that this hyperliquid whale opened short just 30 minutes before Trump announces 100% tariffs on China. He closed the trade for $192 million in profit. This account were open today and he have already withdrawn most of the money. Lucky whale or insider guys. The market, in my opinion, is being manipulated, and that is also the reason why this 1, 2, 3 bullish reversal pattern failed. This symmetrical triangle pattern failed. The support from this Williams alligator indicator failed. The support from this Bollinger Band, the basis line, failed. And now what we are going to look at is the last line of support, which we are not allowed to break. I mean, Bitcoin, if we look at this October CPR, when the price of Bitcoin was in an uptrend, we were bouncing back and forth between this R2 R1 line around 123,700 to 118,900, or let's say $119,000. But after this massive sale of Bitcoin, not just only failed to hold this R1 line, but even below this October CPI, headed straight towards the first bearish target, which was this here, the S1 line around 108,000, and even up to the S2 line, the second bearish target around 102,400, and right after that, a massive weak rejection. So what does this mean? If you monitor this price action carefully, now we are hovering around $111,000, $112,000. But what I want you guys to look at is this key trend lines. October CPR, which is going to be around $112,500 to $113,500. If Bitcoin wants to invalidate this bearish continuation like this, then we must regain our strength above this CPR trend line, and we must also hold this previous low at any cost. The previous low sits somewhere around $108,800. This trend lines here, or this line, is very, very important for us. But for now, we want Bitcoin to remain inside this October CPI line. Yes, guys, if we manage to do that, then this pullback or this week to the downside was just a liquidation cascade, and now we could cool off a little bit and then slowly gain momentum and slowly start following this continuation, the bullish continuation, but failing to hold this ground around the CPI trend line, which I just showed you, 113,500 to 112,500. We have to remain inside this line if you want to avoid a continuation in this manner. But the last line of support, what I personally think will be the previous low. So the previous low sits around $108,800, $108,900. So this trend line will also be the last line of support, which we are not allowed to break. But let's say if we manage to remain inside these trend lines, then in my opinion, this pullback, what we saw here, was a buying opportunity. I mean, President Trump knows that he has destroyed the entire market, not just only the crypto market, the traditional market. So I personally think he could be up to something which will boost the market just like what he did last time. So that's why I still want you to be skeptical, not to be overly bearish, because I have already seen people saying the bear market has officially started, guys. This move to the downside was clearly a manipulation in my opinion, and also a liquidation cascade because a lot of traders were over leveraged. So that's why I was telling you not to over leverage yourself and use proper risk management strategy. Yes, Bitcoin, entire crypto market has seen a massive sell-off, but I still want you to be aware that these trend lines are still there. They will do its absolute best to hold us around this key trend line, $108,800 to $113,500. This is the area where I want the price of Bitcoin to stay until we close the month of October, because if we could remain around this trend line, the next month CPI, the month of November, will be a parallel lining CPI, which isn't necessarily bearish. So that's why, to avoid this bearish continuation to the downside, we have to remain inside this key area. So please, guys, please, before expecting another continuation like this, just like I shown in an example, I mean price following this rising wedge pattern, first I want you to wait until we break below this previous low, and only after that we know. If we break below this previous low, only after that we know it is an actual top for Bitcoin, and price of Bitcoin after that is expected to go below 100,000. But we are still above this key trend line. Bitcoin is still doing its absolute best to hold this ground. So that's why let's not be overly bearish. And still, guys, I would suggest you to not to over leverage at this time, because market in the upcoming days is expected to be even more volatile. So these were some of the quick updates that I wanted to share with you in this video. If you enjoyed my work, then please do not hesitate to destroy that like button. And to those individuals watching this for the first time, hit that subscribe button. And by saying this, I'm signing out until next time. Bye-bye.